G'day photographers, Ben from TAFE, hope you're well. Changing up the location today for this episode of 12 Days of Christmas. I'm in the Mac Lab at TAFE, somewhere different to look at. I've got a new shirt on, it's kind of cool. What we're looking at today is a couple of ways to manipulate the standard video editing software that comes with your computer to make it a little bit more unique, a little bit more boutique, and just kind of funk it up a bit. All right, so I'm in iMovie. This is shipped with pretty much every Apple Mac on the planet. You can get it on your iPhone or iPad. Pretty much everything I tell you here is going to work in the equivalent Windows program. Maybe you get some editing software that came with your video camera. Heaps of different ways to do this. What I want to show you is a way to just pimp out the titles you use in your video production. This is just pretty much a straight up slideshow of photos from back home. And I want to add some text. I want to maybe give this presentation a title and things like that. But if you look over here under the titles tab, this is pretty much all we get. So we get a standard looking title, which looks like this. You can drag over these to preview them. You can get this kind of spready outy thing here. You know what I mean? Like, they're kind of good. There's quite a bit of variety. The trouble is, there's only about 50 options. And after a while, if you spend any time on YouTube, you get to sort of know which ones are which. So how can you customize these? Short answer is you can upgrade your software to something like Final Cut, DaVinci Resolve, or Premiere. And then you can make all the kind of custom titles you want. Or you can kind of hack it. We drag this in here, and let's see what options we have. So you click on here to get in there, and what you've got, so you can change the size of your font, you can change its orientation, like whether it's going to hang out on the left or the right, or it's going to be down the middle. Bold, outline, italics. You can change the color, and you've got a bunch of different fonts here to choose from, which is okay. It's not great, it's not bad. You can, however, jump into this little area here, show fonts. Not a lot of people get into this one. And this brings up a lot more options. So you have a lot more size options, which you can drag up to make it bigger, drag down to make it smaller, and you unlock pretty much all the fonts on your computer. Actually, I'm not sure if that's all the fonts on your computer, but you get to unlock all of these fonts compared to the default ones. That is a layer of customization that you didn't have before, so we're kind of winning there. What really bugs me though is I want to drag this and move it. Maybe I want that look, but I want it down here. It's really hard to do that, and it's a pain. So let's delete that title. And I'm gonna, this is where the hacking comes in, all right? This is the cheat. Let's bump out of that program for a minute. We're gonna be back, and let's go into Photoshop. And if you've got Photoshop, great. I think most of this audience would have Photoshop, but you can make do in any kind of imaging application that'll let you save in PNG format, and that is the kicker. So let's have a look over here. I'm in Photoshop. I've got a text layer here, but I can't see any text, and I've got a white background. If I just turn off the background for a minute, you'll see that my text layer is white, and it's Futura bold, and it's got what I've written in there is custom captions. Woo! Now, because we're in Photoshop, we've got all the fun you can imagine. You've got options for days in terms of size and whether we want it to be caps or italicized or any of that kind of stuff. We can get into the effects panel and we can give it drop shadows or strokes or any of that kind of stuff. See, just a nice little stroke like that, sure. You could make it a really looking, just for fun, something like that. The trick to getting this back into Photoshop is to bin the background. Okay, so at the moment we have a layer, we have no background, it's transparent. Now if you go to File and Save, because we want to get a file we can bring back in iMovie, we're going to come up with a couple of things here. So let's just expand all this out. So I'm going to just whack it on the desktop, sure. If I save it as a Photoshop document, that's not going to work. If I save it as a JPEG, that's not going to work because it's going to compress the file and it's going to give it a background. If I save it as a PNG, it's going to keep, you know, the file there, and it's going to be the text and with a transparent background, which is what we want. So let's save that. Let's go OK to that. And then let's duck this down. And here is our PNG. Can you just leave me alone? Yes, just please. So that's it. It's sitting on a it's sitting on no background. Looking good. Let's grab this and let's float over to iMovie, where we can drag it in, and voila! So there we are. We have a custom caption sitting on top of a video, which is great. We can move it around, we can extend it, we can do all sorts of stuff with this. What I would suggest though is you're perhaps not done with it, because if you want to maneuver it, you're still, you know, you've got problems. Here's how to get rid of those problems. Come up here to the video overlay settings, change this to picture in picture, and then this is where the fun begins, because you suddenly get options to resize and place this. So we can go big and we can center it, and you see how iMovie does that really snazzy guide thing. Yep, that's right in the center. Or we can shrink it down and we can put it off to one side, or we could just hide it here, something like that. And when we play, you just wait for it to appear, and once it gets to here, it's gonna disappear. Cool. Okay, photographers, that is a bit of a hack to get any kind of text, any size, into your basic bare bones video editor that comes with your computer. Now, yes, there are lots of ways you can do this without hacking things. You can have professional video software like Final Cut or Premiere. Heck, you can even export your video out of iMovie, bring it into Photoshop, and edit it there and put text and captions and all sorts of things over it. However, I think this is a good tool to have in your back pocket. You may rarely use it. You may have moved past the iMovie and Windows Movie Maker part of your career. However, it's nice to know how you can get the job done in something that is free. And with that, I will see you in the next one.